That was probably one of my best, at the time, it was probably one of my best waves I've ever had on the tour, on the CT event.
Why do you think that was? Like, what were the elements contributing to that jump in performance for you during this heat?
Just having that wall in front of me, and it was like, I felt like it was just a sign from just the surf gods or whatever saying, hey, kid, like, let's see what you got. Like, we're going to give you the platform. If you want to be a top 10 surfer, this is where you're going to have to perform. Everybody's watching you. The waves are pumping. This is where all your flaws are going to be shown, and this is where all your pros are going to be shown at the same time. So you decide whether you want to be a little kid or you want to man up here.
Yeah,
and
there's nowhere to hide at that spot, for sure.
At JB, there's nowhere to hide. And, I think the best surfers kind of elevate there, and the surfers that have their flaws get shown there. And
you mentioned how challenging it was your rookie season, and Griff's a rookie in 2018, and he's someone who, it's no question, he has so much talent, but you can kind of tell during this heat, he doesn't have the familiarity with the wave. He's kind of just all talent and reacting, as opposed to what it feels like you and Gabrielle are doing, which is like setting it up and being very proactive about how you're surfing the wave.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I was younger, or when I first got on tour, I was like, I just have to react to everything. I'm thinking too much. I just got to react to what comes in front of me. But it's not really like that. You kind of you have to be really calculated. When I caught this wave, I'm like, okay, this is a pretty much, it has an 8 written all over it, and I have to I have to surf my way up to that 8 or even go into a 9. And you have to calculate everything. It's not just about catching a wave and be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna surf the best I can. And I think, obviously Griffin's transformed and learned that very well, as you can see now. But this is his rookie year, and he's just trying to react to things, and he's trying to just like make things happen and everything's spontaneous. But it doesn't really work like that on tour. You have to know when to react, know when to strike, and know when to hold back. And this heat, obviously, me and Griffin have the same coaches. Snake's up on the stairs there, and like I'm looking at him right now. Like I was looking at Snake, and I think he probably just gave me a thumbs up. Like, hey, that was a good one, brother. And obviously going into this heat, it was like, Gabriel was, obviously the favorite, and me and Griffin are working with Snake, and me and Griffin just look at each other, and we're like, all right, we're trying to battle each other out. Gabriel's probably gonna, do his thing. And, for me, my heat was with Griffin, top 2 advance, 3 gets eliminated. And, I just remember just clicking into that zone of like, what, like Griffin's like the same age as me. He has so much hype on him. He had a crazy start to the year.
You got third on the Gold Coast at like
on the Gold Coast.
Kira. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, obviously like, yeah, if you say like, yeah, I was so stoked for him, whatever, like you're completely lying. I was pissed. I was like, like I'm on my 2nd or 3rd year on tour, and I'm getting smoked, and he's on his 1st year, and it's like a walk in the park. Like it feels like he's barely breaking a sweat, and he's like, and everything's just falling into place. And yeah, because he's so talented and he's so good, and he's just so good at what he does, so that it was happening that way. And I was just forcing everything, and it just wasn't working. And that was one of the reasons that pissed me off too. And this heat was that moment where it was like, all right, Gabriel's got 2 8s. Like, like you better, me and Griffin just looked at each other and we're like, all right, okay, it's game on between us. And I was like, man, I need to show the world that I can be that surfer. I can be that surfer. And, Gabriel's 4th in the world. I'm like, I don't even know where I'm at. I'm like,
you're 23rd, I looked it up. 23rd heading into this one.
Yeah, I'm falling off tour, and so, yeah, this was a huge event for me. I remember my first round heat, I had Italo and Kelly, and I won that heat. A heat against Italo and Kelly, and I said in a post-heat interview, I said, you know what, my goal is to be in the top 10. There's gonna be 1,000 people laughing at me for saying this, because yeah, you're in 23rd, like you should be just trying to stay on tour. But instead, this kid's trying to say me in the top 10. I was like, okay, I said a lot of things. I better back it up now. And yeah, right here. So that last wave was an 837. I'm like, okay, I'm in a good spot now. And there's a wave coming up. This wave right here. This wave, I think, was one of the most special waves I've ever had on the tour, even until now. I had like 2nd or 3rd priority. No one even looked at this wave. And it was like not even that good of a wave, but I'm like, okay, I have to put 120% into this wave. And I just remember pushing so hard at every single turn. And then right here, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of pumping a lot. I better start getting like a little bit more flow in between my turns. And so look at in between here, I'm not pumping at all.
Right.
Everything is just like flowing. And I'm like, all right, okay, my flow's good. I have some power, some speed, and then some innovation. You know, and
I remember that punctuation at the end of that wave just blew people away because, as you said, you're pushing on every turn. This wave is so exhausting, pacing such a huge thing, especially on a day like today. People aren't really loosing the fins. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad you called that wave because I do think, you know, looking back at where your career is at today, it was like transformative for you in a lot of ways. Yeah,
it was. Like that last air reverse was like that moment. I felt like there's 10 minutes in between the turn before that air and to doing that air. It was like that moment of like, all right, this is where you become a man. Like, are you gonna, you know, put your balls on the line and do that air and go up into that 9 range? Or are you just gonna be safe and be that typical kid that's scared to fall and not go for that air? And it was like that moment for me was like, yeah, I'm gonna put it all on the line. I'm sick of getting the best, you know, putting an epic wave together and finishing off soft and just like a kid, you know. And I'm like, I'm gonna, you know, stamp my authority on this wave. And so every little phase, there's 3 different phases to that wave. You know, the first part was like me just like, you know, trying to be aggressive and throwing everything at this wave. I'm just throwing that layback. I'm putting so much into this carve, and then everything's kind of janky and I'm pumping all over the place. And this was like the setup. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I got to clean things up. And then this part was like the part where I put all the turns in and everything's flowing, everything's smooth, and I'm doing big turns. And then this was that moment of like, all right, are you a man or are you a kid? And I just threw this in. And as soon as I landed it, I'm like, yeah, did you guys see that? Like, I just became a man in front of your guys' eyes.
Do you like that? Well, if so, subscribe over there and then watch more videos over there. And then tell us your favorite videos down there. It's a 3-step process. Do them all.